Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I have with me another special guest. This is Third Mundo. So, everyone, if you don't know who Third Mundo is, he is a fairly new YouTuber who I just randomly happened to stumble across a few weeks ago. You were on a live stream with a few other YouTubers. You were like on one channel, then y'all moved to another channel, and I was just kind of following, and that's how I even came to know who you were. So, Third Mundo, you are Dominican and you are currently living in DR. So, do you want to tell the audience kind of like what your channel is about?
Excellent. First, I want to thank you for having me and a big hi to all your viewers and your subscribers. Yeah, we ran into each other, a few weeks ago in a few channels. That's how we came across.
Yeah.
Basically, my channel, I have my YouTube channel for a while, but as you know, I'm Dominican. My channel was more about, rooster fightings and things like that.
Okay.
Now, I had a few channels up that had a little bit of gore on it. I had deleted them because I was going to, fix it up. And when I went to put them back up, YouTube didn't allow me to because, the rules had changed. All that gore gets reported. So I stopped. I just been normally watching YouTube all the time, as I work from home and things like that. And always wanted to start a little channel. Now, a while ago, I did like one or two videos just randomly. And then watching somebody's channel, actually, I got into a little controversy. I did a video, a few people reacted, a few people supported. Said, listen, we would like to hear your point of view. You can go ahead and do that. So, I decided to just start doing live videos, live videos in the Dominican Republic, where it's nothing edited, it's nothing fake. If you speak Spanish, you'll hear what's going on in Spanish. If you speak English, you hear, or follow whatever you do see that's in English if we have in an English area. But you'll get the raw and whatever, the public asks to see. If I'm able to bring it to them, I take all feedback and I go out there and give it to them,
Yeah.
But my main thing that I'm gonna concentrate, since I am in the DR and I see the public for that, is just about the country, the tourism in the country. My first project is gonna be going around the whole island, the coast, covering every single beach, whether it's private, nothing there, anything like that. And then from there, I go to the tourism inside the country as well.
Nice. Okay. So it sounds like you got a good thing coming up, a lot of plans. And I do see some of your kind of, I guess you could say they're like vlogs, because you're like driving around, showing different neighborhoods and stuff like that. So, I do think that that's good. People get to see, like you said, that raw, uncut footage of, what's going on in DR and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool. So you mentioned briefly to me in DR now, but you were born in DR, but then you came to the United States when you were young, right? I think
5, 6 years old.
And you lived here for a while. So, okay, so prior to you moving here, do you have much memory of how your childhood was in DR up until you were like 5 or 6?
Yeah, definitely. I was from a campo, and I can remember almost anything you can ask. The kids I played with, who took care of me, where everything is at. Like to today, any one of those childhood friends that I see, because still some people here in the town like will recognize each other, or we hear a name, you be like, you from such and such place, I'm such and such son, and then we'll dap up because we remember it was love when we were kids.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh, okay. So what area of DR were you born in, or where's your family from?
Okay, well, my family's from normally from the hills, Ocoa, El Cacao, which is a campo in San Cristobal. San Jose de Ocoa is another province. From those mountains, from my grandparents, they worked their way down to Gambita, then out to San Cristobal de Pueblo. Then a few of them went to La Capital. But I was born here in the public hospital of San Cristobal, raised till I was 5 years old in El Cacao, which is a campo in the hills, like 2 hours in the hills in San Cristobal. And then from there, 5, 6, went off to the States. And then since around 2002, I've been in San Cristobal, the regular town.
Okay, so you're like country boy, huh?
Yeah, I'm a country boy.
Like a country boy.
City raised, but country born, definitely.
Gotcha.
Country at heart with the city in the head.
Gotcha. Okay. So coming to the United States, New York, right? I'm assuming you came to New York.
Yes.
Right. So how was that like a big culture shock for you Like, how was that, having grown up in the campo of DR and then coming to like a big city like New York? How was that for you as a kid?
It wasn't that bad because I was only 5. When you two,
Okay.
3, 4 years old, 5 years old, you just rolling with whatever comes. Everything you
Yeah.
see is new. But in the Cacao, the campo I'm from, a lot of people traveled. So not a
Mm,
lot, but a few people. So we seen things. It's not like everything was new. We had TV, so I was able to see movies back in the '80s when I was a little kid.
yeah.
So when I came, it was a culture shock, but I'm not gonna sit here and make up a story. It was not that big of a difference because I was able to start kindergarten at the correct age and everything.
Okay.
A lot of my family lived in the neighborhood. For example, the block I got on, probably 6, 7 of my aunts lived 2 or 3 blocks away. So all the cousins
Oh,
were able to see
okay.
each other. So it was a lot of family in the neighborhood. So it's not like I
Mhm.
felt out of place.
Cool. Okay. And plus, there being so many Dominicans up there, it's kind of like you were still among your own people, just different setting, I guess you could say.
Correct. Now there always is a little shock because you see the different cultures and the language when you don't know it right away. So you're looking at it like, what's that? But luckily, again, since I was young, I was able to pick up the language fairly well.
Yeah. Okay, that's what's up then. So apart from, the Dominicans in the area, were there other groups, be they other Latin groups or like American groups that you
Of course.
kind of like felt yourself gravitating towards, or that you had a lot of friendships with?
Everybody that was around, it was mainly African Americans and Puerto Ricans
Okay.
around the neighborhood I lived. The majority of Dominicans were either my family or a few other families, but the majority was African American, Puerto Rican. And
Okay.
again, I gravitated toward it. It was all the same. Where we would go play on that milk. Like for example, they playing basketball outside. It was on a little milk crate back then on a fire escape. It was Indians. It was. I'm talking about when I say Indians, I mean like from where the let's say India, yeah, from over there.
Yeah.
India as in the country India,
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans, a Dominican, it'll be an African, African American. So it'll be out the 10 kids playing basketball, it'll be 7, 8 countries. So again,
Mm,
it was never a big thing until people are cracking jokes on each other and then you start
mhm.
hearing all the races and all the countries. So you pick up on that.
Yeah.
You feel it sometimes when they're talking about you. But
Yeah. And see, that's something like I notice coming on YouTube how I don't know, sometimes like this tension between different groups is more on YouTube just to create drama or if this is real life. But because I hear some people say, oh, that in New York, everyone gets along, whether you're Dominican, Puerto Rican, Black, whatever it is. But then there's others that kind of act like, there'd be a lot of tension between different groups. So, I mean, I don't know if one is more true than the other or if it's just kind of all of the above, but at least from your experience, it sounds like you got along with anyone regardless of what, race or culture they were from.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think it's more since on YouTube, since a lot of things are comments or a lot of people are answering 1 or 2 or 3 people, but they generalize sometimes to get their point across, or even like
Yeah.
myself, or to prove a point. Let's say somebody's generalizing against my kind, I'll generalize against theirs, but just so they could, so then people would take it like, oh, it's a big beef, or these people don't like each other. No, but overall in the whole world, you have a few people that have their judgments based on whatever they were taught or any experience they had early on. For example, if at a young age I would have got picked on by a certain race or beat up or something, I probably would have hated that race to this day. I got some family members that didn't get the good end of the stick when they first made it over there, which were certain ethnicities. Some were Puerto Ricans, some were African Americans that they got beat up or something happened to them specifically or whatever, which they felt they were innocent, not doing anything, which they might be a little judgmental to this day. So,
Yeah.
it depends on your experience. Me, luckily, I was always able to be able to defend myself,
Okay.
so whatever comes my way, I'll be able to throw something back where even if I don't win, they'll at least respect me. Oh, yeah, he said a good joke. It wasn't better than mine, but that was a good one. Or we fought, I beat him up, but I hit him 5 times, he hit me 4. He probably hit me hard. So, so it
Yeah.
wasn't a big impact on me.
Gotcha. Yeah. See, I guess that's kind of how my experience was, even though, I grew up in the DMV, Virginia. So I was kind of around different groups. But I mean, even still, I didn't really have any tensions like that with other groups of people. My friendships were mainly like African Americans and a few non-American, like Black females, and then my Hispanic friends, the few that I had, they were like Central American because there's a lot of Central Americans here. You know, one of my best friends is Salvadorian, so that was kind of like my experience. But even still, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people online make it seem like, you know, because there's cultural differences between certain groups of people, that makes it almost impossible for us to forge friendships. When I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think if you're open-minded and you at least try to understand each other's cultures or whatever, like I don't see why there is a need for this to be this big beef between people, you know?
People don't like, if they don't like a certain culture, they don't want anybody else to like it, or if they put a specific way, they want you to follow them. Because me specifically, like mentioned that the most of my, after junior high school, which was what, 11 years old, like all my classes weren't bilingual anymore, so all my classmates were Black. On the sports team I played, they were all Black. All the music, so I was more influenced or gravitated more to the, you know, to the African American or hip hop culture, whatever you call it. I gravitated towards that. So anybody that didn't speak English or any family member that didn't understand it, they wouldn't like that. So, you know, they're like, oh, but how you like that? Or I related to it. It was my classmates. I grew up around them. My mother was working. I'm at home watching BET or whatever. That's what influenced me as a kid.
Yeah, so, same here.
She wasn't letting me go to parties, so I didn't learn how to dance unless it was a family party. But she wasn't, at a young age, I wasn't going out to parties with my Dominican friends or whatever, so I ain't learned how to dance salsa, bachata, none of that. So if I go out, that's uncomfortable for me. How am I going to enjoy that if I can't dance it, I can't do this? So that's probably why I gravitated towards the other one. But that doesn't mean that I don't like mine or I can't enjoy it, or people want to judge you real quick, you know?
Yeah, people act like you can't enjoy multiple things at once. Like it has to be one extreme or the other. Like, you know, for me, you know, my family is pretty big. So although there aren't many Dominicans in my area, my family is very big. So in that sense, I was able to be raised around a lot of Dominicans and, you know, learn the culture and learn how to dance, you know, bachata, merengue and all that. But at the same time, you know, kind of like you, outside of Dominicans, the group that I gravitated more towards was African Americans. So in that sense, you know, I was also into like Black American culture as well. I mean, none of my family really had an issue with that, but online though, there are some people that seem to, I don't know, they really have an issue with that, which I don't understand why. And I don't know if you ever hear this, how like certain YouTubers or whatever are saying that we're being too influenced by other groups, particularly Black Americans, and they have an issue with that. I don't know. I'm like, y'all need to chill, man. It's not that serious. That's my opinion.
They're being influenced by the opposite. Whatever somebody straight is against, you look for the total opposite, and that's what they're for. So they're being, you know, the same way by the opposite. I don't judge against. It's not like I'm against one or the other. Like I like Blacks, but it's not like I'm just, no, it's only Black. No, when a Black person is wrong, I'll tell them to their face. You know, if a white person is wrong, I'll tell them to their face. If a Dominican person is wrong, I'll tell them to their face.
Yeah.
So wrong is wrong and right is right, no matter what color you're going to paint it.
Exactly. Yeah. So let me ask you, because, you know, me being Hispanic American, something that comes up a lot that I've noticed is people making this distinction between people that were born in, you know, in Latin America versus those of us that were born here. So do you find that there is like a disconnect or a big difference between Dominicans that were born in DR versus those of us that were born here? Like, you know, our parents were Dominican or whatever, but we were born here, or like between them and the Dominican Yorks, as they call them. For anyone listening, Dominican York is like our version of New Yorican, basically meaning Dominicans born in New York or in the US. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's the same thing. It's just since the question is the expectation. So for example, if the one that's born over there, raised over there, comes over here, he's gonna act a certain way. Why? Because he's being looked at a certain way. But you could relate the same way, because I got friends from New York or family members that, let's say, they'll see a few rats somewhere, let's say here, or a cockroach, let's say a little flying cockroach. They'll be real scared. But I'm like, let's not act like in the Bronx we don't got the rats the size of dogs, like we haven't seen them. But when you're here, you'll say, oh, it's crazy, or the mosquitoes are crazy. But when you go to a campo in the States, a camping or whatever in the woods, you get hit by the mosquitoes as well. So it's the same thing everywhere. You just sort of express yourself one way. Now, the ones that are Dominicans from here, they're not as exposed to the culture from over there. But as soon as they go over there, no matter what age, they soak it up. If somebody from over there comes and are willing to, talk to them and hang out with them, oh, they're all smiles and they're gonna enjoy themselves with you. So it's the same connect because if your parents are Dominican and you heard everything, all the culture, you relate to it anyway. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Like on the one hand, I understand when some Latinos that were born in the countries say, well, there's a difference between us because those of you guys that were born in the US, you guys have been influenced by American culture. Like, yeah, you may relate to Dominican culture, but you've also been influenced by these other groups, which I get. And, I agree that is true to an extent. I think that's kind of inevitable.
But they say influence, sorry, cut you off. But in one way, it might not be influence. In one way, we might have our eyes open. We were exposed to more truths and we were able to decide. Because let's say when we're here, all right, we're only hearing what we're told on the news, what the government is telling us. And everywhere you go, some people are, against supposedly, the governments or whatever. So the history might not be the real one. Or the history, you might just be hearing 2 or 3 names. You might not really be going to read the books and see what really happened back in the days or what culture should you really be following. So, and it's not like our culture is like we're doing anything against our culture because what we do, we dance merengue, we dance bachata, like all of that is rhythm with the same kind of music. Like we're people of color, even we have the lighter shade. I'm not saying we dark as well. I'm saying we come in all colors. Like, what's the difference from us that we can't, from back in the days, we've always been influenced by the states. Let's forget the color. If they saying it's the country, the U.S. The U.S. has influenced the Dominican Republic since more than 100 years ago, 200, forever. Europe as well. Everywhere, every country which comes here and they try to influence. Yeah. And what we do is we soak up a little bit of all, but we soak up the good stuff. We try to be good, even though we got bad people as well, cuz.
Yeah. Yeah. And you bring up a good point though, how like even for those that are in DR, they've been influenced by American culture as well. Because I know times that I've gone back to DR, I hear people listening to American music. Or
just check this out. All Dominican music, most of it, not the knock it. A lot of Dominican music. If you listen to it, their English music just translated in Spanish. A lot of Spanish people just don't know it. The same way a lot of this new music in the States is old music, remade from back in the days. A hit is a hit. So any little melody that you have or content, if you translate it to a different language and you put that rhythm, it's going to blow up. So we got a lot of cultures from out there in our music as well. Some just translated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see that a lot in like the urban music as well, like the urban Dominican music. A lot of it is like remixes of either like hip hop or like, going back to trap or even like Jamaican music. Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like we've all kind of influenced each other. So sometimes I do feel like, to use you've been influenced by these other cultures. It's kind of like, but y'all have too. Y'all back on the island have been influenced too. Like how many times have I not gone back to DR and I see people like dressing up with like the as part of like the hip hop culture, things like that, like that American stuff. Like it happens. And I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. I don't think Dominicans are like out here replacing their culture with other cultures. But again, it's like you can enjoy multiple things at once. It doesn't have to be one or the other, Correct. That's how I see it. So, so now that since you've been living in DR, you've been back in DR for how many years now?
Now I'm going on like 17 years.
Wow, almost 20 years. Oh my gosh. Dang. Okay. So do you feel that life in DR is very different than life here in the States? Like, do you find it to be easier, harder, the same? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like the standard of living over there versus here?
It depends. It's like I say, it's like a number 6. I always say the number 6. It depends on what side you want to stand on and look at it. Because I could tell you 100 ways how it's easier, 100 ways how it's harder. Same thing for in the States. It depends what culture you like, what comfortability you like, and what's your comfort zone. So each person is different.
Right.
Just like in the US, it's 50 states. Everybody can't live in the same in every state. Some people are only accustomed to a certain type of state, and they wouldn't make it in another state. Or now they wouldn't make it; they wouldn't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. So my family, we got a house over there in Bonao. It's a nice house. Like it's pretty big, got a pool, AC in the rooms, which over there is like, yes. So, honestly, I feel like if I was to ever move back to DR and live in that house, I could low-key live really comfortable. I might miss the hot water, that.
But like I'd have to
boil the water on the stove.
No, there's a tank and a little machine a calentador, that's what it's called, a heater, an electric heater or they got, and you install it with the water in the tuberia, and you have hot water in every.
Well, my family needs to get on that because we don't have that.
Yeah, there's just a lot of people who don't like the hot water. They're okay with just the cold because they're accustomed to it, so they don't put it.
Yeah.
But you do have a lot, and starting now also lately, all the constructions are coming with hot and cold water.
Oh, nice. Okay. So yeah, I mean, that aside, I feel like I could live comfortable in DR.
You could.
I guess, like you said, it depends on like your standard. So with that being said, I think I could live comfortably there. The only thing that will kind of probably, I don't know, make me doubt a little bit is the whole driving situation because I'm so independent here. Like I drive everywhere. I don't have to depend on nobody else to transport me, but I'm scared to drive in DR because
it seems that way at first because here there are laws whether you believe it or not. So once you drive around like for a month or two living here, not just you come for 2 days and everything is looking scary, you'll get accustomed to it. Mm-hmm. Here they drive where it's not the city, there's no lights, sort of like how you walk. You can tell if you're going to stop or you're going to go faster, depending on the pace each other are going or how determined the other person looks, So you'll be able to drive safely. I'm telling you, once you're here for a month straight, you'll see how the traffic flows. It's not that hard. I've been driving 20 years, I'm not going to say I haven't had one. I probably had one or two, and it was like a motorcycle. He bumped into me, and it was nothing major.
See, that's what I'm scared of, though. It's not so much the cars or the the street lights. It's the motorcycles that scare me.
They take care of themselves. As long as you go straight and you don't get scared and jerk nowhere, they take care of themselves. You think you're going to hit them, but you just go your right path. As long as you don't do anything wrong, you're okay. And if they tap into you or whatever, you got your insurance or whatever, it was their fault. Get out of here. And we're not beating up females here anyway. So if you do crash 1 or 2 or 3 motoritas, ain't nobody going to do anything bad to you,
Gotcha. Okay. Because, I don't know about all the other towns, but in Bonao, I feel like it's more motorcycles than cars on the street.
It is. And it sounds, you hear all the mufflers, all the noise, they coming in and out. You think you can't go nowhere. No, but they see you stop. You're scared, so they're going. Pero si tú aceleras, if you speed up, they're going to stop or they're going to go around you. Mm-hmm. You'll be okay.
And I used to ride motorcycles too. Some people don't know, but here in the States, I've owned 3 motorcycles. I started off with a CBR 250. Then I got a Gixxer a 600. Then I moved up to a Gixxer 1000.
Oh, good. So they gotta watch out for you out here. You're gonna be willing those 1000s.
But I'd be scared. I don't know. I feel like I would be scared to ride over there. I don't know. Like I might try a pasola. I don't know, but I guess like you said, I would just have to get used to it and try it out.
Pasola, Honda Lead, that they move fast and at the same time they safe. And you'll see once you 2-3 weeks just driving around, or even you just riding passenger. Once you're here for like a month straight, driving around everywhere, I'm like, give me the wheel. You're gonna see how it flows. It's just the first 2 days, it looks crazy.
Yeah. So I think as long as I could have a source of like steady income or like American money coming in, I think I could live pretty well.
That's what I was going to tell you. That's the trick. That was what I was going to tell you. If you got a house here, a car, and then you got steady income of at least 100,000 pesos, which is like $2,000, you're good. Now, whenever you got to start, finding a way to make ends meet and everything, that's where it could get a little tricky because, normally if you're from the States, you got like that little pride, like certain things out here you can't do, or you're going to feel like, you're not that you're too good for that, But since you can go back to the States, you wouldn't end up doing that. So here to make money, sometimes you have to do certain things, businesses that, how can I explain it? That let's say you're gonna sell used clothes. If you traveling, you coming from over there normal, you got money, it seems like it's nothing. You selling pacas, you make good money off of that. But let's say you here for a while, you run out of money, and see that you're broke, this, that, and the third, you start selling podcasts just to barely make it, you're gonna feel uncomfortable because you do have, just like everywhere, 2 or 3 people that's gonna start commenting, it's gonna start affecting you. So, if you got a blue passport, try to have that steady income or an idea of a business that you're going to set up off the gate that's going to leave you, even if it's not a lot, a certain income that is at least your everyday food for your 30 days.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, my family, we were actually supposed to move back to DR after I graduated from high school, but it never happened. So I don't know, I don't know if I could necessarily see myself moving over there now at this point in my life, but maybe once my daughter's out of school, I don't know, I might consider it, or at least kind of go back and forth somehow.
Yeah, that's like I said. To first, that would be a better idea. Like live a few months here, a few months there. When it's cold over there, if you don't like the cold, you stay over here. Until eventually you weigh your options. Like, look, I could stay here all year round. I don't want to go to the States. Or you keep doing both, or you just stay over there and rent whatever you have over here. If you don't like it over here. But basically, it should be like that, like a pool. Put your feet in the water little by little. Not just me fui pa Santo Domingo and that's it.
Right.
Because there are a few things that, you're not accustomed to being in the States. And if you don't have patience, like me, I'm a person without patience. And luckily I made it. I get upset at a lot of things. But luckily I've made it no problem. So I don't see why if somebody with a good income or at least enough to live shouldn't be happy in DR.
Gotcha. So let me ask you, so since you're there, you see what's going on in the country and on YouTube and all that. What are your thoughts on all the expats that have been coming into DR? Because I've been seeing there's been a growing number of I hear there's a lot of Canadians coming into DR. I hear there's a lot more Black Americans relocating to DR. What's your thoughts on that? Or do the local people, do they even le dan mente a eso? Do they care? What's your thoughts on that?
Nah, people don't care because normally anybody that come out here to live or stay out here, no matter how you look at it, they bring in some kind of, income or whatever, and they're not really doing anything that foul. Because if they are really doing it here, people will catch on. Now, on TV, on videos, or people that are just coming in and out and are not really in one place, they can say whatever or be doing things for whatever they're doing it. But really, you don't have nobody that could just come, move in somewhere and just be doing foul stuff. And the Dominicans are not going to do something about it. At least not yet. Maybe if whatever race, like with Chinese, white, black, whatever, if they gather their numbers to where they're 3-4 million, then maybe. But until they outnumber us, there's no way nobody taking over DR.
Gotcha. Okay. And okay, so I saw, was it a week or week and a half ago, you exposed somebody that was scamming in DR. Do you see this happening quite a bit? How did you even find out? How did you even catch on to that?
Because I follow them. I started watching a few other YouTubers that most of these people on YouTube now made videos about that person or whatever. And the algorithm brought us to them. Since I didn't see anything bad, I watch people. I be bored. I give everybody opportunity. But I speak both languages. And then interacting, I started peeping a few shady things, but I'm like, hey, if the followers or the people can't read through that, then it's none of my business. But then when I seen certain ones that are just too blatant, that's just, if I stay shut, somebody going to tell me, oh, but you understand Spanish. You saw that. How you let that happen? So, I just make quick videos of it, just hit live on the phone and put it up on YouTube, give my opinion. People look at it and they make their own decision. I'm not here to keep going, making 1,000 videos about a person. That's not really my lane. That's easy. You could pick any YouTuber, even the best one. And if I'm just going to sit back and watch every video and put out clips of any little bad thing he said, you could destroy anybody, but that's not my thing. But if you do something blatantly that's just too much, and I see nobody's not even saying that or commenting, I'm like, hold on, let me say this. Oh, I might reach out to you first, like I did. I reach out to you for, hey, Christina, look, this looks kind of this. If you explain and I'm wrong, I'm like, oh, perdón, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But if you BS me and I'm like, oh, nah, she's trying to, let me put this out. Then I gave her a shot. Hey, Christina's this and this. And then I said, it's for the people to listen to it, look at your videos, and decide. So that's basically what that was.
Okay. So, but it makes me wonder though, like, why DR? Why is it that people?
Because they saw other people do it. It was people before them that they saw making money or doing whatever online and it was working. So they said, let me go with this. If you notice one person do something and it works, the next person gonna follow it. I always said one thing, like here, if you notice, well, that's almost anywhere, but you put a business and it's looking like you progressing, they're gonna put 2 or 3 next to you. I said you could go somewhere and put little bags of, feces, so I can say the correct word, and hang them up and say you selling bags of feces. And the next week, if you put on a gold chain, the next week you buy a car, the week after that you buy a house, 2 or 3 people gonna bag up feces and try to sell it next to you, thinking that's how you're coming up. So people just
True. That's interesting analogy, but it makes sense. That makes sense. So, okay, so you being Dominican and stuff, being on YouTube, are there certain topics that you feel like as soon as people find out you're Dominican, these are like the first things people ask you? Like, I have my idea of what those are based on what I've experienced, but what are some of those things that you think people right away, as soon as they find out you're Dominican, they want to ask you? Like
where? On YouTube?
Yeah, well, particularly on YouTube, but even in real life, like, well, you're in DR though, so I guess that's different. Okay, let's say on YouTube, like, what are some of the things that people right away want to ask you about once they find out you're Dominican?
I mean, so far I haven't really, like, all the questions is there. I don't delete no comments, so all the questions people ask, and people haven't really asked me any questions, but
okay.
If you had a certain one that you think people generalize, like probably at first, but like now, like people see me or see me older, they don't. But ask the question, whatever question you think come to mind. Okay. I told you I'm raw and I keep it 100.
Well, for me, in my experience, being Dominican or Dominican American, whatever you want to call me.
Correct.
So the main 2 things that I feel come up once people find out is the whole matter of race and then Haitians. Those are like the 2 main things that I feel like they always kind of come up. Some people, I guess they're genuinely curious and they want to know, so they ask. But other people, they already have their minds made up about whatever their opinion is about Dominicans. And so it's like they're not even really asking. They're telling you, oh, y'all Dominicans are this. Y'all Dominicans are anti-Black and deny your African ancestry. Y'all Dominicans hate Haitians and treat them terribly. Like, those are the type of things that I sometimes come across. So go ahead.
As for that one, you're totally right. You do have a few that are like that, or a lot. And that's why I tell them the same way when they generalize about the Dominicans, that's the same way we generalize about y'all not gonna like it, because a lot of them have that feeling about y'all. Oh, y'all don't know y'all Black. Oh, y'all don't know you this. All right. But then when I act Black, then you got a few that are saying, oh, you want to be Black. Why you riding the culture? So I'm like, tell me which one is it? Because if I'm Black or we some Black or it's love, then I'm going to show y'all love and I'm going to embrace the culture and we're going to show love. Now, if you telling me I'm not, that I can't be, that I'm only Dominican, then don't get mad when I act like the Dominicans that you stereotype. Like you say, it's anti this. So that's what I'm saying. It's really those people that are in some way, they racist or they got something against a certain kind of people, but real genuine good people, don't matter what the color is, they show you love. When people come with that, they ignorant people that got some type of stereotype against their self. So they're looking away at it, make it a race thing, so the good people in their race could back them up.
Okay. So going back to the race thing, because this is something, I've been asked about before, like whether there is racism in DR, like, is that something that we really experience, or like colorism and stuff like that? And in my experience, I've said it many times on my channel before that I didn't necessarily experience a lot of racism or colorism or stuff like that from my family members or other Dominicans or when I've been in DR. But I've heard stories from other Dominicans that say that they have. that they were either made fun of for their skin color or called different things or whatever. So you having lived in DR for the past 17 years, do you feel that racism is something that is very prevalent in the Dominican Republic?
As that quite was prevalent, no. There is racism all over the world, and there is racism here. But I would say out of all countries, we're probably one of the least racist. And I would say 70% of the racism you do here is not really racism. It's just the ignorance at the moment that you're just playing around. Like, for example, I'm brown skinned. Let's say I got friends that are darker skinned than me. That is all love with them. And when I'm joking around, I play with them and I'll call them a Haitian it is. But it's playing around because I know that's generalized and he's received it and he won't be hurt by it because he knows it's all love. Now, from a person that really is racist and they say it harmfully, yeah, that would hurt somebody and that would affect. That's racism, and that's very little in this country. There is, but it's very little. It's normally from the older people, old generations that, that's still stuck with them. But the younger kids, the new generation, they're not on that.
Yeah, and that's what I find so interesting because, I've been learning a little more about, the histories of other Latin American countries and kind of learning about the race relations in other countries. And, when I compare, I'm like, people act like Dominicans are so racist and all this shit, but I feel like we're not that bad compared to some of these other countries. And
one extra thing on top of that, most of the Dominican families or people that are like really racist, if you take a look, technically they're not really Dominican. Most of them come from family from different countries, different cultures totally, but their families came here early on and they have like 1 or 2 generations that are, Dominican now here, but they stick to their ties because they people empower people with money. So, so they're not even really about the Dominican culture. Like you tell them bachata and they'll look at you like you're crazy. Like you can't even play that around us because they're not really Dominican. They just came from their country, set up shop over here, set up business over here, got influential positions, and they continue to be racist, even against regular Dominicans that are from here, even if they're fair-skinned.
Yeah. See, and that's why sometimes I feel like people need to really try and understand, or at least visit the country for yourself and see for yourself. Because I feel like a lot of people that spread all this misinformation, well, I'm not going to call it misinformation, but the ones that really hype it up, they've never been to DR. They've never stepped like foot in the country. They haven't experienced it. And so, but they just repeat what other people say. That's like the problem. Like, we have this stereotype and everybody just runs with it without taking the time to actually experience it themselves. And that's why, like I've said, like I don't deny that racism and all these things exist in DR. I never have. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm sorry, but personally, I ain't really see it like that. But like you said, I do think it was more the older generations that still kind of held on to some of these, I guess, Eurocentric standards. And so they would like project that onto people or tell people to, I don't know, don't date with like somebody that's really black or, the whole good hair, bad hair thing and stuff like that.
Exactly. It still goes on to this day, even movies. If you look at it in movies, they still, whenever they're really going to portray something, they portray a certain type of person, but that's, like I told you, people that's what they're about, try to influence other people on that. But you can't really force racism on people. Good people going to be good people no matter what.
Right. Yeah. I will say though, I've noticed, I think there's a gender discrepancy though. Like going to the race thing or even just a representation. I have always felt like, at least among Dominican people, like blacker men are a lot more represented and seen, at least in like the media and stuff, than the women. Have you ever noticed that? Like I feel like either on TV or whatever it is, even like some of the female musicians of DR, they're usually lighter skinned, whereas with the male artists and musicians and athletes, they're dark. Like there's no lack of dark skin representation of men in Dominican culture, but I feel like with women it's a little different.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
But you know where that comes from. But it's like I said, like they're scared to put out what they think is beautiful, but they're scared that other people is going to be like, or the backlash. Like I said, you have some women that, let's say they walk down the sidewalk and there's 10 men there. All 10 men will look at her and want to, will want her or whatever. But 8 or 9 of them won't say anything, scared that the other one is going to say, you like that?
Mm-hmm.
So, so a lot of people are still brainwashed with think a certain thing is pretty, and that's what they put in, that's what they make him represent. But I don't know why, because they got, like you've seen, they got something on TV here in a few channels, which I don't know how that's on TV. I don't even want to give he, she that props, but on TV in the Dominican Republic here, we got some crazy things representing us, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Exactly. I don't want to give, like I said, I want to give him or her any props. But we got a lot of crazy stuff on TV that the kids shouldn't be watching.
Yeah, I've seen those as well. So when it comes to like the whole thing with Haitians, do you feel that there is currently a lot of tension between Dominicans and Haitians, or how people feel about the illegal immigration of Haitians into the country? What are your thoughts on that?
Like in the streets, you don't feel like, you don't see that tension. Like I said, now the news, on YouTube channels, on this, on that, yeah, you won't see it. But here, you walk everywhere, you're going to see them together. If one person do something wrong, which everybody knows is wrong, everybody's against that person. That's basically how it is. But here, you don't see that tension in the street. You don't see it in real life. It's just like in the States. Right now, you look at the TV and you see all the race things and everything. But if you walk outside in any state, really, you don't really see no race going at another one or this happening. It's just certain people trying to push that.
Yeah. So for me, like I've mentioned this on my channel a few times, I don't know why it is whenever I go to DR, I never come across Haitians like that. I don't know why that is, because some people would have you thinking they're invading and taking over the whole damn island. Okay, that's how some people make it seem. But I mean, it's not to say that there aren't maybe areas that there is a bigger influx of Haitian people, but I don't know. I just don't really come across them like that. So I've never really experienced firsthand the interaction between most Dominicans and Haitians. But I mean, I've definitely seen, I guess you could say, both sides of the argument, because like you said, I've heard other Dominicans say like the tension isn't really that bad. You know, you have Dominicans and Haitians, I guess, living together in some areas and they get along okay. But then, I don't know, I hear some saying that it's like, oh, they're committing all these crimes and causing all this chaos. And I don't know, sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to believe. I mean, I hear so many different.
You believe what you see. You got to believe what you see. Because like, I'm going to give an example. I'm going to shout this person out because he's Dominican here. You got a kid named Capricornio TV. He goes to the barrios and everything. And if you see a few barrios that he went to, you got areas where they're almost all Haitians with the Dominicans and everything. And you see how they're talking, how comfortable they're living. You know, as far as, you know, like not scared to speak their opinion or anything. So like they everywhere. But now let's say they get out of hand and they just start abusing the Dominicans. Then whatever's the next closest Dominicans, they're going to join up and they're going to go against it. Not because they're Haitian, it's because they're abusing against innocent Dominican people. So, you know, that's basically how it is. So it's certain places here that you go, they're everywhere. There are a lot of them here. But it's not like if you go somewhere, they are numbering us 10-1 or it's closed 5-5. No, nothing like that.
Okay. And that's another thing. I feel like what's pushed on the media, I feel like it's always a very one-sided narrative when it comes to talking about what's going on in DR and the relationship between Dominicans and Haitians. And I don't know, people will have you think that Dominicans are like the damn devil. And like they're just, I don't know, abusing the hell out of people, or Haitians in particular. And, you know, that's not to say that in some cases, you know, Haitians aren't discriminated against in DR, because I mean, I do think that happens in some cases.
It has to happen. We're two different cultures living in one island. You know, it's going to be a little bit of power struggle. That's everywhere. Just in the government, you got, let's say, Democrats, Republicans, or PRDista, even between the same culture, you got different ideas. So it's always going to be a little power struggle. Y'all might take over, or this happened back then, or this happened before that, or y'all did this, or y'all, you know, you're always going to have that. You know? But overall, like I said, in general, people stick to the rules. They know which side is which side. They know how you got to act in certain. They say when in Rome, do as the Romans. So as long as you know you're going about your everyday living, how that place is moving, you're okay. Now, when you try to make a difference, whether it's for right or wrong, it's going to be backlash. Because even the people that make revolutions for good get a lot of backlash.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I don't know if you're really into politics like that. I mean, quite frankly, I'm not into politics like that, but I do hear little things here and there. And I've heard some people say that, with the current president, Danilo Medina, that he's like a puppet and that he's scared to speak out on certain things, particularly when it comes to the Haitians in the country and all that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on the current state of the political
you want my point of view?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's kind of true. They've done a lot of things, signed a lot of bills, done a lot of things, whether it's for their own benefit or whatever. But if you look at it country-wise, it has been kind of selling us out, and giving them certain powers. Now, he is a puppet, but not only him. Almost every president in seat right now is a puppet, because it's not what they say. Whatever they say, you got Senate and Congress that's against them. And, you got people with money that fund certain candidates who have to go one line. So even if the president wants to be good, it's hard. So unless he really has the heart and is willing to put his life on the line like they say they do, it's going to be hard for them to ever really do what's good for the people.
Dang. Yeah, and that's really unfortunate. And I don't know, from the little that I know or that I see, it just feels like the interests of other bigger outside powers are the ones kind of being, what's the word? Like their interests are the ones being met more than the Dominicans themselves.
Yeah, because they fund it. Sometimes people are in debt. They pay for certain things. Even if you want to say no, you have to. You feel like you are, man. And it's like I said, the people, things like this will get your channel, not get too many views when you talk against what the real is. But if you get into that, the proof is in the pudding. So it's the people with the money that they buy everybody off. And like it's on the news. If you look at our news, it's like the proof is there. El hombre del maletín, every obra, like the news is there. The reports are there. What they do is there. Look, his brother I saw somebody that do Sergio Carlo. His brother just told him, if you ever touch down in the country, you're gonna see what's the wrath or what it is to mess with the family. And he mentioned both of their last name. And the guy put a querella, and they really haven't done anything right now. And if you watch videos, the way the people in power and what they do, you see is like I told you. And I'm not defending the other one because I know the other one come in. Like some of them just got into power. They're like alcaldes, which is like, and they doing real messed up as well. So, yeah. It's hard. It's hard. Until the people, it's never going to be no politicians that's going to fix it. It's going to be the people. Once the people unite, and really ask for a change, because the way the system is set up everywhere, it works. What's messed up is the greed comes in. Whenever somebody takes a certain position, they think the other person's going to steal, so I'm going to steal. Everybody thinks the same way, and then it's out the window. But if everybody get a clean heart, that's the only way things going to work.
Yeah, right. So, okay, so let me kind of switching gears here. So let me ask you, how have you been keeping up with the pandemic, and how's everyone holding up in DR from what or at least in your area from what you've seen? Do they still have the curfew in place right now?
Yeah, still 5 p.m. curfew. Everybody I see, a lot of people without the mask, a lot of people about their business, but at the same time, everything is shut down. So
yeah.
It's kind of like it is everywhere. It's crazy. You see a lot of people moving, but you stop trying to play it safe. So you're getting left behind, trying to play it safe. At the same time, those people, they might be exposing themselves, might be getting sick, but right now it's crazy.
I can only imagine. That must be really difficult for like the small business owners and stuff, or the ones that sell things, because it's not like here. I mean, we got one stimulus check, but I don't think the Dominican government is doing no type of like stimulus checks or nothing like that, right?
Nah, just for the same people that had the cards for the government, they gave them an extra $100 for the month, 2,500 pesos and 2,500 pesos.
Yeah.
And then that's something like I told you, it gets back to the money thing about people in power. Because look, right now you could only only open businesses with food. So for example, if you own a paint shop, you can't sell your paint.
Yeah.
If you own a hardware store, you can't sell no hardware material.
Yeah.
But then when you go to La Sirena, which is a big company that's owned by one of the big families, they got a hardware section that sell paint and sell hardware. And if you go there, you're allowed to buy it. So if I'm a business owner, let's say if I own one of those businesses, I'm like, wow, but how they can sell the same products I'm selling and I got to be closed.
Yeah.
And they're 100 times richer than me.
Yeah.
But then I understand that at the same time of a citizen be like, oh no, but at least I could buy this. It's open. But you shouldn't have been painting at this, with the pandemic. So like I tell you, the same things they tell you shouldn't do, you got other people doing it and you feel like you're getting left behind. So
the bigger corporations are doing it.
Yeah, it's an awkward situation. Exactly.
Yeah. Dang, see, that's tough, man. I watch or I follow a few YouTube channels as well as some pages on Instagram that are, in DR, and I've been kind of keeping up a little bit with what's been going on over there as far as the whole pandemic situation. And I've seen clips of some families, like I saw that they were giving out like these little small food bags with like a little bit of rice, a little bit of oil, and this one guy was like, what do you expect me to do with this? I have like 3 kids. This is barely enough to feed like 2 days worth. Like,
and then they put a candidate's face on it, which is like what makes it worse. That's why there are people complaining here too, because you're saying it's help from this, but you got a candidate for the next presidency logo on it. So is this campaña or is this help?
Right.
Which one of the two is it?
Right. And I mean, if it is for campaign purposes, I don't think that's really helping them, because if anything, people are complaining like, what the hell is this shit? I can't do nothing with this.
That's what everybody's saying right now. Everybody's saying, take everything they give and we still gonna get them out of here. So.
Sheesh. Dang, that's crazy. I mean, I don't know. Have you been keeping up with like the number of cases? Does it seem like it's going down at all?
No, every day is going up. I mean,
Still going up.
Something every day too. That's why they keep pushing the date back. They can they curve it. But my thing is, all right, but let's say you curve it. Then what? Then we can open up. My thing is, if it was only 1 or 2 cases got out of hand, then what tells you that 10,000, 7,000 cases is not going to do the same thing again? So But I be thinking they make it seem bigger than what it is. But at the same time, you got to play it safe, because if it is that big, then
Yeah. Dang. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Even over here, I'm like, they're trying to open, or they're in the process of slowly reopening some of the states. Well, some states have already reopened, but in Virginia, they're kind of doing it in phases. But I'm kind of like, I don't know, man, because the numbers haven't really started to dramatically decline yet. So it's like, do I even want to really go back out there once everything is open? I don't know. I'd rather just kind of still play it safe and watch what happens first.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
All of y'all that are going to go back out there, I'm going to watch you guys and see what happens. But I mean, I do hope, I don't know, we can kind of get over this somewhat soon. I did want to go back to DR this year, and I wanted to go during the summer, but I don't know if that's even going to be possible at this point.
Yeah, no, I think this year, everybody could watch this year away. This year is done. People need to focus on setting up their future goals and making as much money as they can this year, no matter where it comes from stimulus, from this, from extra hours, and just stay in the house. Take this year to plan everything. Because even if they do open up, let's say out of nowhere they come with, something just a whole bunch of cases in this place. We're going to do a quarantine for 14 days, this, that, and the third. And that'll be a real bad experience.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to hold off my trips till next year. It was either summer or maybe in December again. But
yeah, see, for December maybe, but I know the summer is too close.
Yeah. The only issue with December, man, is I can only go for like less time, and it's just so damn expensive. Oh my gosh, I went this past December and it was $800 something for 8 days. I mean, I paid it because my family was all there. I had no choice, but Oh my gosh. That's like, I'd rather go in the summer or the fall because December is just too damn expensive.
Yeah, but this December, I think it should be cheap, especially with everything that's going on. I don't think flights are going to be expensive for a while.
Hmm. I hope not. I mean, people were saying that prices have been down. I mean, I checked like, I don't know, a month and a half ago. It wasn't too much cheaper from what I saw, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe for this December, maybe it won't be as bad as it usually is. I don't know. Yeah. That was it for all of my questions. We're almost going on an hour here. But so what are your future plans for your channel? Like what do you aspire to become here on YouTube? Are you trying to become like a big YouTuber, or what's your goals on here?
Oh, I won't mind. I mean, like I said, I just want to see where it goes. I would love, of course, 1 million subs, making $1 million a day. But yeah, but I'll take just what I have now, which is like some real good loyal subscribers, people that
Yeah,
interact, that are not trolling you, not hitting dislikes when it's something that you're not doing wrong. I'm good
right.
with that. But like I said, I'm gonna try to grow every day. I'm gonna try to bring you. I'm not gonna stick to one thing. I know when you stick to one thing, that's how you get better monetization and everything. But
Mhm.
I want a big following, so I'm gonna try to bring everybody everything that they like.
Yeah,
Whatever they say don't do, I'll stop doing that. Whatever they say do, I'll stick to that.
right. Well, that's what's up. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure you'll definitely get there.
Yeah.
Dominicans are we a hot topic these days, I must say.
No, and I could like I want to do it organic because that's the thing. I want good people because it's easy to do.
Yeah.
I could get 2 or 3 Dominican YouTubers here, pay them a few $100, do some nice videos, get a whole bunch of following from there, advertise a couple of dollars here. Next thing you know, you got 500,000 subs. Pero como te digo, you won't have a lot of people that just went there for one day to click it and they never going back.
Yeah.
I want, if I got X amount of subs, that there's X amount of people that even if they can't watch the video today, at least during the week, they're going to click on it and see what's going on.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, definitely. I agree with that. You want an organic following of loyal subs that are going to watch your stuff. I mean, granted, not every subscriber is going to watch every video, but I mean,
No,
I think that's the way to go, though. Have it be organic and giving people the content that they want to see. I mean, of course, trolls come along the way. I definitely have my share of trolls on here.
but I enjoy the trolls too because most of them, like I told you, as long as they're not disrespectful trolls, because the trolls are the ones that watch you the most and
That
interact
is
the
so
most.
true. That is so true.
And sometimes they doing it all in fun. Sometimes people type something and you think they're really trying to offend you, and they really just trying to get your attention because they like your content and they want to hear you interact with them. So as long as nobody disrespectful, like cursing other people's family members, that and the third, people control on. I could deal with those. Like I said, sometimes I come back too. I might give them a little attention.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, sometimes it's hard not to. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've been to just block. Some people are though a little too disrespectful, and I've had to block them. But yeah, I get my fair share too, and particular YouTuber out there trying to say that I'm really Haitian and I'm anti-Dominican and all this shit. He knows who he is. But anyway,
They keep you moving. Don't pay no mind to that.
yeah,
Like my videos are gonna be like I told you, it's gonna be raw. So if people they don't gotta ask me, or Dominicans this or that. Now you're gonna see it. Tune
right.
in and you're gonna see all the colors. You're gonna see how they interact. You're gonna see who don't like who. You're gonna see what they say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people people can say one thing, but the facts is facts. When you look, you see what kind of people we are.
Right. And it's really that. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
It is as simple as that. But people just want to go off of hearsay and negative media attention and all this BS. I'm like, y'all need to stop. But anyway,
Like that thing you talking about, people getting back on you, that DNA one you did, because I watched it. First of all of those aren't that accurate, and even if they are, everybody will have a little bit of everything. And if that person says that they don't have anything of one, then they're not really even Dominicans, because Dominican is a mix of 3. So if you ain't got black, white, and Indian, you're not Dominican. So you gotta have all 3 to be Dominican. So that he can't really knock you. You're more Dominican than him if he's saying he don't got one of the 3.
No, I mean, according to this dude, the real Dominicans are the more European, Spanish descent Dominicans.
You know why?
It's questionable or low key really Haitian.
Now you know why they say that? Because a few of the people that started it when we started here that got their name in history. Like I told you, they were born here, but their fathers and grandfathers came from Europe.
Yeah.
So in the history books, they're going to write one thing, but they're not going to write how the other padre de la patria, he's this, and he had to deal with these people from that side, helped them, and we had a plan where it was still going to be half and half, but then somebody from over there decided to try to take everything over. So there's a lot of things in history that even though it's written, they don't really put it out there. They just put like one thing or whatever they want to show you. But when you really go back and read the books and read everything everywhere and miss and match it and where their bloodline come, you see what it really is. That's why when you come in for I tell everybody, when you buy the little souvenir from the Dominican Republic, they got the red, white, and blue dress, and they got the face with no eyes, no nothing. Why? Because that's what they say about us. We don't got an identity. We a mix of all three.
Yeah. So the doll without a face, right?
Yeah, that represents us and thing because they say there's no image because they can't put a white, they can't put a black, you know, it's no image because we a mix of all three.
Yeah, right. Yep, you're right.
Because if anything, the Europeans, they from Europe. So then Dominican Republic was already here, so they not Dominican. Now, when they mix with what was here and everything, that turned into the Dominican culture.
Right. That generational after generational mix of Europeans with Taino and Africans.
Yeah.
That's who we are, man. That's what I've always said. Like, we are a mix of all of these things. So when I hear other Dominicans or some of these YouTubers trying to focus so much on one thing or so much just on the European aspect of our culture, I'm like, but that's just one aspect of it. That's just one. So why are you harping so much on, I don't know, just one side and trying to completely overlook the other? Like,
and we got our independence from them. You know, we fought to free us from them. So how are we European? You understand?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Right. Right. So that was it for this video. I want to thank you again for coming on. This was really good. I'm happy to, interview another Dominican that's there. I mean, to get your opinion and stuff like that. So for anyone that's watching that wants to become more familiar with Third Mundo, I will leave the link to his channel in the description box, and I will also leave it in the pinned comments under this video. All right. So once again, thank you.
No, I want to thank you. And if I hit those 1 million subs, I'm going to give you an interview.
Oh, hey. Okay. Let's hope we get there.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure y'all subscribe.
Bye, y'all.